Okay, let us share this to gallery real quick. Or not gallery, Discord. There we go. Okay, that is story. It won't let me do that. Okay, so we have audio and we have visual.
Hi,
Hello, how are
how
you?
are you?
You
Good, how are you
doing well?
doing?
Preparing for a week vacation in North Carolina. That's awesome, Cerberus. I'm doing good. I'm excited. I've been looking forward to this. Let's write
Me
down.
too.
No.
Oh, I
So,
love the Pikachu behind you.
so I have welcome to Nerd Talk, where we are all nerds in our own nerdy way. And by that I mean, do you have a passion about anything in your life? Do you? Because if you do,
Yeah.
congratulations, you're a nerd. Congratulations, you're a nerd. I have to remind a lot of my jock friends that fantasy football is just D&D for jocks. It quite literally is. We all have a nerdy passion. For some of us, like me, it's video games and Pokemon and cats and all the other things. For my husband, it's Transformers and Star Wars. But one of my nerdy
Love it.
passions is the fact that I always wanted to be Barbara Walters. So when I was 14, that's who I was watching. 60 Minutes, her doing all her little interviews, the political candidates, the presidents, all these people, like that was inspirational. She is one of my four celebrity inspirations. Her, Lucille Bell, Betty White, and then Ruth Bader Ginsburg, because who cannot have her as a celebrity role model?
Got my discount collar on right now.
So you get it. So I
I
know
get it.
before running for candidacy, you are what? It's a healthcare lawyer?
Yes,
Okay. So tell me a little bit more about what you do with that.
absolutely. So essentially, if a matter touches or concerns the license to practice any sort of healthcare profession, be it medicine, dentistry, nursing, physical therapy, even, we provide representation. So we also represent healthcare systems, hospitals, and really any need that there is, legal need, we do it. So that includes defending providers in malpractice cases. That includes defending providers when they get complaints against their license with the board that they're registered with, or even if it's something a little unusual like a slip and fall at a hospital or a auto accident that involves a medical transport vehicle, we do those too.
Okay. Bet.
Yeah.
So I am a licensed massage therapist by trade. So if I were to
Nice.
have somebody sue me because, oh, well, she went too deep and she hurt me while she was working on me, you would be the type of person I'd be like, hi, I need to hire you. Because that's
If
not what
you're in
happened.
Virginia, yes.
Yes, yes. So, but that's great. I love that because, we hear about people on the other side of it, but you're actually advocating for the providers. So, it could be very much one of those cases where you have somebody in Texas that is suing a provider in Virginia for doing telehealth abortion pills. Because that's the thing.
Yep. Yep.
They don't have any proof. They just know she sent them in the mail. Yeah. I wish I were
We
joking
haven't
like that.
gotten those cases yet, but we'll see.
Yeah, because but that's exactly it. Is you have the legislators in Texas who are quite literally they see a post on an Instagram or TikTok or this about somebody mailing the pills in their state. Okay, so you mailed them into our state. Now we're going to prosecute you based on the statement saying that you helped this woman. That. Yeah, yeah.
And it's
So
only going to get worse. It's going to get worse before it gets better.
I'm aware. That's why do you think we're all doing this? It's why I'm doing it because I can tell you I talk to people all the time. They don't know who the representatives are. They don't know who the candidates are. They don't know who represents them. They've never seen them have a conversation with anybody. They're just in the office and they're like, well, I don't know. And obviously my vote doesn't matter because nothing's changing. So I'm just not going to vote. And I'm like, that's the other half of the issue, because that is a self-fulfilling prophecy right there. Because if half of our country believes their vote doesn't matter, then congratulations, guys. Guess what? Your vote doesn't matter. The only votes that matter are the ones that are actually cast. You're right.
Right.
So instead of not having your vote matter, go and use it. Go and use your voice, because we are now at the point where it's no longer just a right. It is an obligation, or it will be taken away from many, many different classifications of people, starting with anybody, Save Act, who got married and changed their last name.
Mm-hmm.
Or
That would
I was
affect me
seeing
personally.
Elizabeth Banks. Did you know her birth name was Elizabeth Mitchell? She changed her legal name to reflect her acting name. Not
Yeah, I
because she
saw
wanted to.
that. I saw the video.
Yeah, I reposted that one earlier because I'm like, that's another perfect example. Ethan Sweetland May, he's somebody who's running in Indiana. His last name's hyphenated. He has to go get everything fixed, because otherwise he can't even stay on the ballot. He has to have it done by April 15th. That's a deadline, because Indiana passed it on a state level. Yeah. Because our state decided, oh no, that sounds great.
Oh my
Does not.
gosh.
Yeah. So, I mean, understand, thank you for the follow, Stashy. There's a lot of things that are going to take place over the next year that if we don't get in front of it, we got to stop being reactive, guys. We have to start being proactive. We have to start being smart about all of this. Otherwise, come on, understand, for lack of better words to say, our federal government has fallen. Look at who's in charge. Look at what they're doing. You have the people in the streets streaming, this is not right, and they don't care. So then we go to the states, because if you read the writings of the forefathers, they even talk about all of this, what to do if our federal government becomes corrupt, falls, becomes an authoritarian dictatorship regime, becomes an oligarchy, a corporatocracy. They actually talk about what to do. You go to the states, you look at the state levels. The states are supposed to then fight the federal government on our behalf. Well, I can tell you in my state, they're not. It's part of the reason why so many people are up in arms and angry, and it's on the verge of getting volatile. But that's where we have to say, guys, we can't be volatile. We cannot use physical force. We have to use our voices. We have to go peaceful protest. We cannot give in, because the second we give in, we give them all the justification they need for everything they're doing to us.
Exactly.
We can't. We have to do Portland. We have to show up in inflatable frogs and take the mace to the face and hope that we don't end up blind because of it. But that's the only recourse we have. We cannot throw punches. We cannot cast any stones. We have to just stand in solidarity. That is the only way we are going to turn things around. And then if our state governments aren't working for us, then we flip the seats. We take back control. We get the people out there that want to have their voices heard by the masses, saying, hey, yeah, I'm from my district, but I'm here for more than just my district. It's my district, then my state, then my country. So even though my focus is on these subset of 20,000 people, I really do care about the larger picture and then the ultimate picture, because that's where we need to be, is we have to change here, to change here, to change here. So I know that's what I'm doing. And I know that's what you're doing.
And I appreciate you for all the work that you're doing.
Well, I just appreciate everybody saying yes. I've had one person who said no, who he would have been just better off just not saying anything, because the way he said no was very dismissive, was very rude and upsetting, because he basically told me that he helped to create this medium 20 plus years ago, and that he had learned through his time investments that it wasn't worth his time to take and have an hour or 2 hour conversation with me for the 2 measly votes he might get. That rubbed me the wrong way, because he actually represents a district in my state where many of my friends live. So
Wow.
we had a conversation the other day about that, and my friend goes, that was the dude that knocked on my door that I told you about. That it seemed awesome. He goes, but to have him say that to me and then turn around and say that to you, he goes, nah, that's somebody who doesn't actually care about anything that other than his reputation and his face. He doesn't care about the people, because if he did, he wouldn't care whether or not he got 1 or 0 or 100 voters from you. He would just do it because it's getting out there and it's awareness.
Yeah.
So,
And we
thank
have
you.
too many people in our government who are all talk and then you get down to the point of actually doing something for the people, and they're not about it. And I'm so sick of all of that.
And I think you may have been the one who was, I watched a video with one of you guys where they talked about if you're talking to candidates, ask them not just what the plans they have, but how they plan to achieve them.
Wow.
So,
Yep,
and that's
that
where
was
I'm
me.
talking with. I talk to them, I'm like, these are your goals and ideas. This is great, but how do you plan to achieve it? Do you have actual steps? If not, let's work on that over the course of now until either the primary or the election, whichever one. Like, let's have those conversations. Let's show the people that you're actually working on formulating a plan before you get there. So you just don't have concepts of a plan. Because we can't do any more concepts of a plan.
It's gotten us into the worst era. We are in our villain era at this point, and concepts of a plan got us there.
Yep. And then we as women, unfortunately, well, we can't be soft and feminine. We have to become hard and aggressive and actually forceful and use our voices and fight, fight, fight. And God, men hate that when we do that. Why? Well, we're supposed to be at home raising the kids. Well, I got 2 kids. They're both minors. They're here. And I can still do everything else I want to do, plus be an amateur political journalist and use my voice and fight in my own way, because that's what we all need to do, is stand up and fight in whatever way we have the ability to. Everybody has different talents. Everybody has different gifts. This is mine and that is yours. And I love it.
And really, the people who think that it's one way or nothing else for women, like, come on, y'all, we can walk and chew gum at the same time. Like, we can raise a family and also work and use our voices. Like, we don't have to live in this monolithic kind of environment. We have multiple aspects of our humanity. Like, let us live. Come on now.
I was talking to my mom and I looked at her. I said, you know what? I think you'd be proud of me. She goes, why? I'm like, well, I said, I have a question for you. I said, Mom, I said, why when I was a kid, did you and Dad try to limit me with what I did with my life? I mean, I wanted to be an astronaut or an acrobat or a massage therapist, an author or a political journalist or a doctor or this or lawyer. Why did you try to tell me only do one of these 3 careers because those are the only ones which will make money? But at the end of the day, I would be miserable doing them. Why didn't you try to push me to do something that I felt with my entire being would be beneficial to me and the people around me, that I would feel fulfilled? And she goes, I don't know. She goes, it was the 90s. She goes, for school. It was the 90s. It was a different world. She goes, but you're right. We never should have. We should have just done what you're doing with your kids, which is, what do you guys want to do? What do you want to be? If the changes, tell me. I will help you get all the resources, all the tools, everything you want to learn how to do that, if that's what you want to do. And if you find out halfway through, especially as a kid, that, I don't like that, that's okay. We can try a different path. That's the same with every person and being in the world. It's not just men who have the ability to have 100 different careers. Who said I can't? Why can't I be a crocheter and a wellness coach and a massage therapist and an amateur political journalist and this and a gardener and that and that? Nobody. She goes, no, she goes, and honestly, she goes, I think if you really wanted to do it, you could achieve it all. She goes, you are the one person I know, if you put your mind to it, you could achieve it all. But most people, if they genuinely put their mind to it, they could achieve it. But we're seeing the issue of, well, they have their head in the ground like ostriches because they don't want to admit that they actually have to do the hard work to help see the change they want to see. They just want everybody else to do it for them. And that's not how things work.
Exactly. 100%. Oh man, hearing about your mom and your story, it really takes me back to my own story too. My older sister, who is my campaign manager, she was a theater major in undergrad. We're 10 years apart. So my mom often used her as an example for me of what not to do. Oh, your sister is a starving artist. Oh, you need to go and have a major where you're going to be able to make a living. So I chose science. And I was in forensic science for my undergraduate degree. I worked in toxicology for a couple of years, and it was miserable. It was so miserable, I started studying for the LSAT and then went to law school. So eventually I got there, but like, if I didn't have that kind of regimented, oh, you need to do things that are going to make you money later, like I could have really enjoyed growing up more than I did.
Yeah, no, I'm right there because my entire life was, how can I make myself better? How can I do better? instead of just saying, hey, you know what, that's great, let's figure out what you want, but at the same time, I want my kids to be kids. And I tell them, stop trying to be the parent, stop trying to be the adult. You're a child, be a child. It's okay to still, like I tell them, it's okay to still have temper tantrums at home and act at home, all these different emotions at home. I'd rather them do that than in public where they could feel regret and embarrassment later, because there's no point in feeling regret and embarrassment for having emotions, i.e. my son. Let's talk about men and mental health and how that is not something that is really pushed hard in our country, but needs to, in addition to all mental health and all healthcare, just period, all healthcare. Our country doesn't like healthcare. I don't think it likes us. But that's just because I've been on the receiving end of, oh, it's just all in your head. You're a woman. It's all in your head. It's all in your head. Turns out it was not all in my head. I have 4 diagnosed autoimmune disorders now. Then they're all centered around chronic pain. But it was my head because I'm a woman. 10 doctors, 10 different doctors before I got one who said, okay, let's actually figure out why you're in pain if you say you're in pain. I was 32. I'm now 41. So it's one of those, I've been on the receiving end of that. I've had to figure out what the issues were. I had to find the doctors, find the specialists, find the treatment plans, work on it myself, fight tooth and nail to get to where I am today so that I can even just stand up and walk around my house, because I used to not be able to stand for 2 minutes at a time. At 35, I went back to school to be a licensed massage therapist, and here I am now with fibromyalgia, with psoriatic arthritis, with osteospinostosis, with spinal column narrowing, having had neck surgery twice, all these different things. So when people, especially vets, come in and talk about all their health issues and how they're not being supported, oh, I feel for you. My little brother's in that boat too. He served because I couldn't. My little brother served because I couldn't, because of all my health issues. I feel horrible for that. I mean, yes, did it help him mentally mature? A lot. And he needed that, because when he came home the first time, he realized exactly how much he loved me and my mom and how much he couldn't live without us. It took him having friends die in front of him for him to realize how sacred life is. Nobody should have ever had to go through that. That was the Afghan wars. That was during the last time they were pushing for oil like they are now, where they were invading countries for oil like we are now. Venezuela, anyone?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, my husband served in Afghanistan also. And it's one of those things where, particularly on the day that the US invaded Venezuela, on the day that the US went and dropped more bombs on Iran, it was like Groundhog Day all over again, because we've seen this play out. We've seen from 2001 until 2020, or somewhere in that time frame, we've seen how this ends up. And same with my husband, like seeing one of his friends perish by getting a bullet to the head. Like, it is so damaging for people. And then after all that happens, speaking of mental health, they're expected to just shove it all down, bottle up their emotions, and keep on keeping on. And it's like, that's no way to grieve. It's not healthy. And then when they come home, it's a wonder why they have PTSD. Like, hello, they were in combat. They saw things that none of us can even dream of, having not been there. And they're not taken care of like they should be, which is
No,
why I want so badly to expand and protect veterans' access to VA benefits and services, because they need it.
they do. Oh no, veterans have the highest unaliving rate out of any classification of any citizenry. It is veterans, followed by teenagers. Those are the two most vulnerable classifications of people for unaliving themselves, because of the amount of trauma they experience in a short amount of time, and with teenagers not being able to have the proper tools to handle their emotions, and then with vets not getting the proper tools afterward to handle those same emotions. That's a huge problem. My little brother, mind you, and I'm going to reference him because he is a vet. After years, he finally agreed to go to the doctor, and it turns out, oh, he has bipolar just like I do. Mine was triggered by an incident when I was a kid at 5. His was triggered while he was overseas when he saw his friends die. Because what happened is they went over IUDs, the Humvees were flipped, and he was one of 2 from his Humvee that survived. Yeah, it was brutal. There was more life lost than there was life saved that day. And I know afterwards, like he still to this day, and it's been over a decade, has issues. He still grieves. He still has night terrors. He still has issues sleeping with anybody else in the room with him. He has to be in a room with a locked door that nobody else can get in. He's got to have like the windows have to be, and it's funny because he has cardboard, or he actually got plasterboard to put over the windows because nothing can be able to come in from the window. He has to be in the safe, secure little isolated spot to sleep now. And he's trying to slowly deconstruct from all that. He goes, but Cole, I finally sleep at night if I do that. I said, bet you're getting some sleep. That's important, because he wasn't for about 4 years, but he's finally medicated. He's finally getting the treatment he needs. And now the VA is saying, oh, by the way, we're not going to cover your mental health therapy anymore. They're not covering
right there.
They're not covering chiropractic care anymore. They're going to send you to a pain management treatment center and give you pills. That is what they're doing to all of my veteran clients right now. And so I'm talking to them. I'm like, listen, I will work with you. I will not charge you my normal full price. I will scale it back and charge you what you would pay out of pocket for the chiropractors if that's what you want to do. And a lot of them are starting to go, yeah, let's set that plan up, because I cannot go without you. I will figure out how to afford you once a month. I said, bet. We'll figure it out. I will scale down my prices so you can afford me, because you need that help and care. Because I know when I need it, they're going to be there, got my back, be like, no, you took care of us, bet. We got you. We got you. Because that's one thing I love about vets is they do truly take care of their own. Well, thank you, guys. Welcome in. Welcome in, everyone. And hi, Kayla.
Sending love, Kayla.
So we'll jump into, what's your platform? What are your goals? And do you have any plans in place already to achieve some of them, or are you still working on them?
Yeah, so I stand for access and accountability through action. And what that looks like for me is accountability first, and then we expand and become the society that we want to see for not just ourselves, but for those around us, for our communities, for our kids. So with accountability, what that means for me is articles of impeachment filed against Donald Trump on day one. And those articles are already drafted. I am
Sorry. Okay, I'm a very animated person. If you haven't noticed, I will make hand gestures going along with you, like, yes. Like, you get it. You get it.
I'm here for it. I'm so here for it. So I am a courage candidate endorsed by an organization called Citizens Impeachment. We are at this point over 130 candidates nationwide in federal, state, and possibly local elections too. And on day one, we're going to introduce these articles. They're already drafted. They're ready to go. When we get to Congress, the courage candidates, we will form a voting bloc in Congress to get progressive policies across the finish line. We're talking about universal health care. We're talking about abolishing ICE, which is another piece of the accountability pie. So through this coalition, we are going to make change happen. And then once all of the bad actors are removed from the federal government, then we're going to increase access. We're going to do things like universal health care. We're going to expand veterans' benefits and services, as we were talking about. We're going to make the VA easier to get through, because even though I'm a licensed attorney, it is so complicated that even I can't figure it out. And so how is somebody who went straight from high school into the military and comes back and needs VA assistance, how are they supposed to get through it? It's a system that is so inaccessible. It is so broken. It's probably by design, and now it's gotten worse because of all of the unaliving by 1,000 cuts that has happened with this administration to Veterans Affairs. So I want to get all of that done.
I love it. No, really, seriously, because again, like I said, VA vets, they're very close to my heart. My pop, most of my uncles, my brother, like a good chunk of my friends. It's important to me that those people are taken care of. Aiden's biological father, he was served in both the Army and the Air Force. So my son should be getting benefits through that. But because I know everything he's done, Medicaid covers Aiden's health insurance now, because Robert's supposed to, like, that is the only thing he's on the hook for, is health insurance and child support. finally getting child support after 14, almost 15 years. Finally. It took a while. But it got to the point where our state ended up seizing his bank account until he started making child support payments, and he had to get them set up, and he has to pay X amount every month or they will re-seize his bank.
Yep.
I'm
happens.
I'm glad that they are finally being a little bit more stringent with that, because male or female, if you are paying child support, there is a good reason why. Pay your damn child support.
Exactly. Yes. 100%.
Help take care of that life.
Yes. And like, there's so much stress and strain on the legal system that would be seriously mitigated if the court didn't have to work out all kinds of battles over people not paying child support. Like, when I got out of law school and took the bar, the first thing that I did was I clerked for a judge. And I cannot tell you the amount of cases that we saw on a almost daily basis. Like, it was for sure weekly. It was almost daily about people that were arguing over child support. One person doesn't want to pay child support. It's like, you have a child. The least that you can do, even if you're not a part of that child's life, is help pay for all of the things that the child is going to need throughout their childhood. Like, bare minimum. That's it.
Yeah. And see, I used to do payroll. So we talk about child support, and I am just brought to mind the one gentleman who had 8 child support orders. That means he had 8 different baby mamas. Ooh. Not 8 different children, 8 different baby mamas. Yeah. I put 4 child support on a woman because she had 4 different baby daddies and didn't have custody of any of her kids. So it's one of those, it's both sides of the spectrum, people. Before we start pointing fingers about who is and who isn't paying child support, both genders can pay child support. It's all about how much each person pays, or not pays, how much each person makes, and the quality of life at each home for the child. Is if one parent makes $100,000, the other makes $40,000, the one making $100,000 is going to be paying the one making $40,000 some money to make sure that the child has the same lifestyle at both places, not extravagance at one and squalor at the other. That's the purpose of child support. That is what it's for. Period. Yeah. And there's so many people who, that's a very hard concept for them to understand, because they're like, well, she uses it on her nails. Yeah, but how many hundreds of dollars did she use that month on your kid? And you're going to be like angry that she went and got her nails. And how do you know that she's using your child support money for that? How do you know she didn't get tips and set $40 aside for that, and she's actually using all the child support money on your child?
Of course, they made me do like the most.
Like, I'm not sorry when I say I don't think the person who gets the child support should have to list out everything they use it for. Quite frankly, I don't. Why? My ex finally paid $28,000 of his back child support. I got my eyes fixed. I have been trying for the last 6 years. Every time I get the $4,000 together for it, I'd have to pay something out for one of the kids. So when I met him in December, and I point blank told him, I said, I used the money for that. He goes, I don't blame you. He goes, I know you how you budget. He goes, I know you would have been fiscally, financially responsible. He goes, I know if you could have afforded it before then, you would have done it. He goes, but you probably always kept that money as backup money too. I said, yep. I always wanted to make sure I had at least $500 buffer, and then I'd get to about $4,300, and then boom, I'd have to spend $1,000. Why? Kids came first. They needed new shoes, new clothes, new this, new this, new this. They grow like weeds. They needed food. There's so many different things. And then we're also looking at the point where cost of living is going up. Living wages are staying the same, if not getting a little bit worse. Let's be honest about this. And we are now looking at going into a summer where, believe it or not, guys, we have not generated enough food in the last year to actually support the citizenry when it comes to a lot of things, because the migrant workers, the ones who come here from other countries to harvest our crops, were all seized by ICE and sent back home. So think about the Florida tomato farmers. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just Google Florida tomato farmers 2025 crops failed. And you will just see fields and fields of rotten crops. Why? Because they didn't have the migrant workers to harvest them. Because Americans think harvesting crops is genuinely too beneath them to do it. It's why they don't. It's why we have migrant workers to begin with. They literally come in just for agriculture and then go back home. Yeah. But they were all just seized and sent back home anyways. So again, we're going to see skyrocketing prices in groceries once again. Most people are already at the point where they're tightening their belts. My husband and I may actually get to the point where we're alternating who gets to eat that day, because the kids are going to make sure we get 3 meals a day at least, and they are fed. We'll figure it out for ourselves. Do I say we want to get to that point? Absolutely not. Is that where we were last summer? Yep. Am I hoping we're not there this summer? Yep. But you never know, because again, gas is going up, food's going up, this is going up, that's going up. Things are just going to continue going up, and it's going to get rougher and harsher and more unobtainable to have a good life until it gets better.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, where we are right now, it's all a manufactured problem. And it's been manufactured by the policies of this one person. And we're at the point where there are going to be a lot of people who are making the choice between paying for healthcare and paying for the roof over their head. Or if not healthcare, paying for food and gas in the car versus paying for the roof over their head. We're already seeing that in my district here. We're seeing people who cannot afford things like healthcare. And it's only going to get worse with the cost of everything going up. Gas here is almost $4 a gallon.
Ours is over $4. Yeah, I filled up the other day at $3.79, and the next day it was $4.09. It was, it's like I said, it's already over $4 here. And it's just getting worse. The other thing I was thinking of is we're having the issue with our energy bill just went up like about $100 because we have all the data centers moving in.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's a huge problem here too. We've got in Loudoun County, we've got what's called Data Center Alley. In Virginia, Virginia has more data centers than anywhere in the world. And people are seeing the effects of these data centers skyrocketing their energy bills. And we went to a meeting recently where it was the developer for a data center that was trying to be put in literally down the street from my house. It just so happens to be across the county line, but they are so close to the line that this would be a problem for me. And we learned at that meeting that the developer, they're required to enter into a long-term contract with Dominion Energy, who does all of the energy in Virginia. There are some smaller companies throughout some rural areas, but by and large, Dominion Energy is the one that provides electrical to Virginians. And so the developer is talking about, well, we're not going to raise your energy bills. We're not going to raise your rates. We're not going to do this. And I'm like, how is that possible when, number one, you have to enter into a contract with the energy producer? You cannot control what it is that they charge their customers for their rates and for all of the energy that you're producing at this data center. You can't control that. Number two, they're saying, well, we're going to ensure that the people of this county don't have an increase in their energy bills. What about the people that are on the other side of the county line, that are so close to it that we have the same street that goes straight through both counties? What are you going to do for those people? Nothing? And it's just insanity. And they're planning on building a lot more on the eastern side of Henrico County, which is where I'm from, and then going towards Williamsburg, which is about an hour east of us. And it's like, what do we need all these for? To bleed us more? To have more of our hard-earned money go towards paying the electric bills caused by the people that are running up the bills themselves? No.
Yep. See, and this is where I like what Kentucky did, where they put in law where when the data centers, they sign everything, all that, they have to pay 80 to 85% of their contracted usage, even if they don't use it for up to 15 years based on the contract. And they have to build power plants equal to the amount of energy they're going to be consuming so that they don't overtax the power grid.
What a concept.
Everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
I had to search up.
Kentucky, you're actually leading the way in something. I mean, you're behind in so many other things, but you're leading the way in one. I like it. I even told Erin when I had her on Thursday, I said, I like that. Why couldn't Indiana do that? We're on the hook for it. Instead, they have tax incentives, and they even signed things and put into law where the citizenry is on the hook for the data centers, not the data centers. That's the law we have on the books, where we have to pay for it. And we have 30 to 40 hyperscaler ones. That's 400 megawatts or larger being built in Indiana over the next year or two. Some of them are already complete. Some of them are being started. And then if you look at from the environmental aspect of all of the data centers and what they do to the environment, especially when the federal government passed a law like a week or two ago stating that the state EPA requirements cannot be more stringent or strict than the federal level requirements. Meaning that, no, the federal level is not the bare minimum. The federal level is the maximum they can do.
Yeah. That is entirely backwards. Oh man, the list of things that we need to change at the federal level it just keeps growing. And I think about people who have their heads in the sand about politics in general. And I'm like, man, what a privilege it must be to be apolitical in this time that we're in. Because whether or not we do politics, politics is doing us. Look at the price of gas.
Thank you. That is literally put a video out earlier going, hey guys, we got to talk about this. And it was yesterday's. Here's the thing. If you do not do politics, politics will do you. And I promise you will not like it because it won't use lube.
Yeah. True story though.
Let's look about every time in the past politics have done us. Has it ever been gentle and kind, or it has been rough and we've been in the fetal position afterwards? It's been the second one, guys. It's always been the second one. But let's be honest, it's been the second one. At no point has it been the first one. That's just it. Is if we don't do politics, politics will do us. I'm thinking of one of my friends who's Russian. He goes, in Soviet Union, you don't do politics, politics do you. He told me that when I was like 18. That still sticks in my mind today because you know what? Now that it applies to America. It heavily applies to America too.
I got that so
But it's just one of those, like, if we don't do politics, politics is going to do us. And this is the result of politics doing us. Do you guys like it? Because I don't know.
I really don't. This is why I'm running for Congress.
Exactly.
I mean,
I'm like,
it's
let's
just,
do this. Because it can't continue. You know, and the No Kings protest today is a perfect example of people banding together and standing there in peaceful protest stating this is not okay. And the more we do that, the more they're going to realize that they truly do have citizenry that is fighting against them, that is going to go out and vote. And that's the whole reason why they're trying to pass the SAVE Act, which if you guys don't know what the SAVE Act is, it's not saving America. It's not saving it from having illegals vote, because guess what? Illegals already can't vote in our elections, not on the federal level. You know, so it's a moot point. Believe it or not, we already have all those safety and security measures in place. They're just trying to make it harder and disenfranchise more people from voting because they want the voter pool to be smaller, because if they can control the size of the voter pool, they can control the voters.
and they can control the outcome of the elections ultimately. Yeah, 100%. It's straight up voter suppression. Like, there is no reason for it. And if we think about that in the context of other policies that have come out from the federal government, tell me why we had to go and get real IDs if not for proving citizenship in order to vote. That wasn't enough. Now we need a whole extra law that says, oh, you got to show this, and this to vote. No, it's voter suppression, plain and simple, dressed up as saving America.
And the fact that you have to pay $160-something to get a passport in order to vote. Last I checked, that's a poll tax, and that's illegal.
Yes,
That's,
it is.
unless you're providing that for free for everybody gets a free one to make sure they can vote. That's illegal. Like,
Unconstitutional.
I checked it was.
100%.
And last I checked it was
100%.
unconstitutional.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
But that's again, is they're trying to push through unconstitutional things to make it harder, especially for women to vote. Now, mind you, of the 70 million Americans, it's not all women. But the vast majority of that, like 90-something% of it, is women, because the vast majority of people who, when they get married, who change their name? Women.
Women.
You know, you're going to have gentlemen out there who have hyphenated their names because they've gotten married. You have people who've changed their names to their stage name because, you know, that is better to have as their legal name. There's a lot of reasons why people have their names changed. I know a guy that was born with the name Tululu. Yeah, his name was Tululu because they wanted a girl. He changed his first name. Can you blame the man?
Honestly,
So
no.
there's a lot of reasons why people would choose to do that. What is it to you that they did? As long as they have proof saying, listen, I am an American citizen. I was born here. Here's all my IDs. What else do you need from me? Like, I have my birth certificate. I have my passport. I have this. I have that. It's because the name across the board does not match on all of them. That's why they won't accept it.
And I'd like to point them in the direction of one of their own who has a name that doesn't reflect the name that they were born with. JD Vance. That's not his birth name.
No, it's not. It's not.
And I don't think that he will experience any blowback from trying to vote. Nope, it's everyone else. Rules for thee, not for me. That's how they're running. And I'm going to keep my language clean, but man, there's some things I want to say about that.
Oh, honey, I'm going to be the first to admit, I'm going to send you a copy of this. You can bleep out anything you want. I typically don't. I'm the first to admit I'm a little bit of a potty mouth. I do try to keep it pretty clean, but at the same times, there are no other ways to say certain things than other to be blunt about it. And that's just how it is. Because if you try to sugarcoat it, then people don't take it seriously. Not enough middle fingers for this lifetime. Right there with you.
Amen. Amen, K-Law. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. So true. God. And it's kind of a nightmare situation. And then people are like, oh, well, there's all this voter fraud. Okay, show me proof.
Yeah, so they've looked into that. And outside of the 2024 presidential election, because that is a whole beast on its own, I have proof and I can steer you to it. Before that, okay, outside of that, 7 cases. 7 cases of voter fraud in 20 years. 7 cases. That's it. Now, if we want to talk about the 2024 presidential election, there is actually, and if you look hard enough, you can find the clip from an interview from Elon Musk back in September when he told the interviewers to check every county that has 50 or less votes from Harris. Those were the boxes that were messed with.
Man.
So after that, that's why there's been so many independent checkers going through and hand counting all of those counties, proving that those states, those counties all went blue. Because you would see the thing, it was marked Harris, but it was registered as Trump. Those were the boxes, those were the voter booths. That was what was tampered with. Musk told us after he and Trump had their fallout what he did to buy Trump the presidency. And nobody's doing anything about it. We have the smoking gun, but it's been suppressed. Most people have not heard or seen that clip. It's why I keep sending it to people. It's now like page 2000 on DuckDuckGo or somewhere in that, because they keep burying it. They keep putting so many things out to mask it so people can't find it. Because if people find it, then people can prosecute.
Yeah.
And
it's just these two narcissists, I tell you what, their ego will be their undoing. I mean, they've made statements like that. Trump in his rally saying something to the effect of Elon is very good with those computers, ... And then when he was with I believe it was the president of FIFA in the Oval Office talking about, and then they rigged the election and I became president. So I think that was pretty good. Hello.
right?
That is evidence of
Yes.
a conspiracy. That is evidence of fraud. Like, there's your voter fraud right there.
They're going, oh, it doesn't matter if you go out and vote. It doesn't matter. No. I don't need your vote. I'm going to win anyways. Like literally saying that while he's campaigning. Don't go out and vote for me. I don't care if you vote. I'm going to win anyways.
So I tried to make the box.
And talking about, well, you'll never need to vote again. I'm sorry, what?
Like, well, you'll never need to vote. We might never have another election again because it's going to be so that good. That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works. And again, they're still talking about letting him or trying to figure out a way around the constitutional law about 2 term limits for presidency.
That's mind bending. Truly, absolutely mind bending. I would like to see them try because at this point, like there's no, there's a snowball's chance in hell of that happening at this point. And I truly cannot wait for midterms because whether it's me or one of my primary opponents, all of our goal is the same. We want to flip this seat. We flip this seat, we're going to change the balance of power in the House. We change the balance of power in the House, and he's getting impeached. And not just that, but we're subpoenaing Elon Musk. We're subpoenaing Stephen Miller and all of these other people that have been involved with all of this along the way. Because, my God, we're at the point where Hakeem Jeffries is saying things. He's talking a lot of talk, but he's not backing anything up with any actions. He could fight so much harder, and he's choosing not to.
Yep.
The establishment's got to go.
No, it does. And, it kind of just brings back to the whole, my brain then again resettles on Iran and the fact that they have ground troops there. They've sent Marines in. The fact that they are not going to allow reporters or anybody in with cameras to watch the planes come in. Instead, they're going to be sending them to private airports where, well, photographers aren't going to be allowed in. Reporters aren't going to be allowed in. Nobody's going to be allowed in to see the amount of bodies that are being taken off of those planes because they're not going to report the correct amount of deaths to us. We're going to find out afterwards that there's a 0 or 2 added on to the end of that number.
Unless I'm giving like a starting point for the likes, I don't.
They need to sit down. We need real leaders. We do. And that's part of, I know what I'm doing and what she's doing is trying to be that leader. And I'm trying to find the people to help be those leaders, to get them into those positions because we need to change. We need to flip seats. We need to flip the House. We need to flip Congress. We need to flip everything so that it's working for us instead of against us because we can't keep doing this. We can't keep sending all of our people to other countries to take their resources from, to capture their presidents, to kill their people. We can't keep bombing, schools with kids in it. It's not okay. It is not okay, especially when you have Pete sitting there going, he doesn't care about the terms of conflict. He doesn't care about that. They don't care. They're going to rebomb the spot they just hit in order to kill the rest of the survivors because that's how you do war. No. It was very telling when they changed the defense to the Department of War. Very telling. And they're just planning to defend us. No, changing it to Department of War means they are bored of peace, and that's why they made the Board of Peace. Because, look at who's on
Board of Peace.
Look at who's on that board. It's not people who are typically peaceful. It's people who are authoritarian. They're dictators. They take away rights from their people. They suppress them and they oppress them. They do not care what happens to them. That's who's on the Board of Peace. Because it's not a board of peace. They are quite literally just bored of there being peace in this world.
It was just the second part of that.
Because
right?
war is profitable for them. It's not profitable for anybody else, but it's profitable for them.
I could not.
And I think that has a lot to do with why we're seeing all of ICE detaining people, because they're lining the pockets of their donors that have private prisons. And that's one thing that I am going to work towards abolishing at the federal level is private prisons, because my God, these prisons are just horrific. I had the privilege in law school of working with the wrongful convictions clinic, and I had a client who was at that point, the only private prison in Virginia. And the conditions that they had there were just a nightmare. It was a living nightmare. He was there during COVID, and people were getting sick, people were dying. Not just that, though. Here's where it gets real interesting during COVID. They had an influx of illegal substances, illegal drugs that were coming into the prison. Pre-COVID, they were blaming it on visitors left and right. But then post-COVID, during and post-COVID, when no visitors were allowed in and they still had people unaliving from substances, we can tell who's bringing it in. It's the people that work there.
It's not the visitors.
And right, it's not the visitors. It's not the visitors. And my God, like there's no reason for there to be an organization profiting off of the bodies of people not having rights. It just promotes all of this making things criminal and then putting people behind bars. And I'm so sick of it.
Then we have the Blue Butterfly facility, detention facility in Texas now, for the pregnant teenagers who all somehow got pregnant after being taken into ICE custody. I promise you, nothing of them are Mother Mary. They are not Mary Magdalene. None of those were, immaculate conceptions. I promise you, there was grape involved. Because, one, if you're in a detention facility, you by default cannot consent. Literally. Second, they're minors. They cannot consent. They're children. They cannot consent. They're little girls. They cannot consent. They can't consent. There's a problem with that. The fact that they're sending them to a facility in a state where they're not going to get the OB/GYN care they need because they don't really believe in it anymore in that state. There's been way too many women who have died by being pregnant in that state. Need I tell the story of the lady who died from preeclampsia after seeing, 60 or 90 doctors who all told her she was fine and not a single one of them offered her the abortion care that she needed that would have saved her life. So now her 16-year-old son has to grow up without her. Yeah, those are part of the problems. That's part of the huge overall reaching problem. But then you look at the smaller problems and you're like, it's just everywhere. Of course, there's rapists in ICE. Why? Well, look at their president. Look at their president. He is a known rapist. He is a known pedo. He is a known violator and assaulter and aggressor. And he is our leader. And obviously that's okay now, isn't it? Because, people tend to reflect their leaders. And when their leaders are people like that, they allow the worst part of themselves to show. And those show who they truly are. Because good people are not going to turn rotten and evil just because their leader is rotten evil. It's the rotten evil people who are going to show their true colors. While the good people who care are going to continue on, keeping on, trying to make the world better. That's how you know the difference between the two. And you see these people, and I'm not sorry, if you've joined ICE in the last year, you are part of the problem. You are.
Absolutely.
Part of the problem. The fact that you decided that, this is my time, died, and you want to go do that. I'm sorry, there is something really wrong with you mentally and like broken if you think that is a good time to join a government. Let's see. The Gestapo. The government Gestapo. Really? You think that's a good time to join the government Gestapo? Yeah. No, that just shows who you truly are. And then you have those guys where, they're not telling people they're nice. They're gardeners. They're postmen. They're this. They're that. They have any other kind of job that is not ICE. Period. They won't admit to people they're the Frosty Boys. It's the reason why, I don't know if you've seen the most recent one where multiple people were taken off of a plane with the gentleman who had the badge on saying, well, I have this, so it lets me do whatever I want. This plane's not leaving until I get off of it, and I'm not leaving until he's off of it. And then he ends up taking the person recording him as well. And then they're all held in the airport, all three of them, because the ICE officer wanted one person who is an American citizen, kept saying he was an American citizen, was willing to show him his passport, and the dude did not care.
Yeah. And that is the biggest problem, is that these people are just doing whatever they want with no accountability, with no oversight. I cannot wait till the day where we start seeing states prosecute ICE officers for violating the law. I mean, taking somebody without a warrant is abduction.
Mhm.
It's a crime.
Mhm.
It's a crime. I'm so, hello, my God, I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone. And I know you get it.
Yeah. It's like, how is this the timeline I end up going into? Like, I was promised a good timeline of abundance and prosperity. How is that going to happen at this rate? Like, really, people? How many more once in a lifetime? That's never going to happen. That's impossible events. Are we going to have to live through before people start realizing that it's not just going to be once in a lifetime? It's literally just happening all the time.
Yep. I am so tired of all of these unprecedented events. I'm so tired of it. Like, not only do we need to clean house and reform all of our systems, we need to put more laws on the books, more criminal statutes on the books to make sure that this never happens again. One thing in particular that I want to get on the books is preventing anyone with a felony conviction from running for president.
You know, here's the thing. I thought that was already a law. I actually thought that was a law. And then he got convicted, and I find out, oh, yeah, no, that's not actually a law. You can be a felon and still run for president. I'm like, wait, what? How? But you can't even own a gun, but you can have the nuclear war codes? Like, how does that make sense? That makes no sense. Not at all.
None at all.
Like, you can't
And
have a
it's
felony conviction or any sort of DV conviction to be in my field, period. How can you be president?
right. Right.
So it's 7 o'clock, and I know you said you had a hard stop time because you have a date with your hubby. So what we'll do is we have to continue this conversation because I now have so much more. I've been writing down as I've been going, oh, and this, and I'm going to next time.
I can't wait to continue.
So yes,
I would
we will,
love to have another.
and then we will
Yes.
get together in a few weeks. I'll send you some dates so that way we can start getting things prepped and planned now, and then we'll talk more then.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. I really, really enjoyed speaking with you, and I can't wait to talk with you again.
I can't wait to have you on again. Thanks, Ericka. You take care.
Thank you. You too. Good night.
Night. So everyone, that was Ericka Kopp. She is running in Virginia for their House of Representatives, District 1. So thank you everybody for coming and hanging out and having a conversation, for joining in. It was a really good conversation with Ericka. Hi, Yua. I will be back on tomorrow for a little bit. No live stream, just a chill and vibe stream so we can just hang out and have a conversation. I look forward to seeing you all then. Much love, guys. Take care.